Hello everyone, Horseman here. This last week marked the first numbered non-MMO Final Fantasy to be released since Final Fantasy XIII, which was released back in 2009. Despite this, Final Fantasy XV has been in production in some way, shape, or form for the last decade, and now we finally got it in our hands. This is my first impression of this long-awaited title. The very first thing that a new player will notice is that the game is gorgeous. There are only slight differences between the Xbox One and the PS4 versions, but what you will see here is from the PS4 version. Colors are vibrant and the frame rates are fairly stable throughout all levels of gameplay, but you will find some dips here and there. In-game cinematics reveal story plots just like in previous titles, where important conversations happen between your party and antagonists, but one theme you will find throughout is that your support characters, Prompto, Gladiolus, and Ignis, all have Noctis' back 100%. First and foremost, my chief complaint is the amount of walking. Like, there is a lot of walking. It would not be as bad if the environment was a little bit more lively, but it's fairly empty, and no music accompanies for a majority of the time you're exploring, which can make it feel cumbersome and lonely despite your entourage being in tow. Of course, one of the most important aspects of the Final Fantasy universe is going to be your ability to fend for yourself. Combat. Combat takes a cue from the MMO genre, where what you see is what you kill. The system is much more refined than how Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy XIII did it, as you still have complete freedom of the movement of your character to perform a slew of attacks while strategically positioning yourself for the most damage dealing moves that you can muster. But it is not as easily as simply getting behind the enemy. Since the holy trinity of RPGs, aka the tank, healer, and DPS, doesn't necessarily exist, mobs have a penchant to want to kill Noctis, the only character that you actually control, and therefore oftentimes can be difficult to get behind the enemy, where you're going to be able to carry out blindside attacks that deal more damage to them in the form of a multiplier. Link attacks can also be performed in these instances to deal massive amounts of damage to the enemy. The only resource management that you'll really need to worry about is your health, of course, and your MP, but your MP isn't used for magic like it was in previous titles. It is used to help you carry out warp attacks. Warp attacks allow you to throw your weapon at an enemy, which will then warp you to the enemy to be able to initiate a devastating blow that can leave the enemy vulnerable to attack, enabling you and your crew to deal more damage to the enemy for a short period of time. It also means for you to be able to quickly change targets, get out of bad situations, and it is also used to disengage yourself from battle to recover MP and get a better understanding of the battlefield from a higher vantage point, if one is available in the form of a cliff or a tower. In Final Fantasy XV, you do not necessarily have to worry about mana because there really isn't none as we know it. Magic is slightly different than it once was. The magic system is very similar to Final Fantasy VIII's draw system, in that in order to get spells, you have to draw out elemental power from nodes scattered around the environment, mostly near where you campsites, and craft them for limited use. In Final Fantasy VIII, you had to draw the spells out of the enemy and equip it, but you also still had limited use. I'm not sure yet how much I like the system, but I'm sure that it'll come around soon enough. Once you draw out the elemental power, you'll be able to go into your menu and craft the type of magic that you want to use in the menu itself, and then equip it. You have to combine the elements of fire, ice, and lightning, as well as a catalyst, in order to come up with the cool spell. The more potency you have, the more ability you'll have to get it to the next level up. Once you get it over 100, you'll be able to get it from like Thunder to Thundara. And by adding the properties of a potion, elixir, phoenix, or whatever, we'll also add additional bonuses to that spell. Oh look, more walking. There are side quests as well as other activities. Two such examples can be found here, where a group is helping a stranded driver with car repairs. I've encountered a few of these side quests, but there are plenty of other events scattered around which reward hefty XP and guild bonuses despite doing so little. I also found a dartboard, which awarded me 3 AP. I'll discuss that later. There are also bounty hunter side quests from tipsters that can be found from town eateries, and I have also run into a fellow hunter that would like for you to help him retrieve the dog tags of fallen comrades. Did I mention that there's a lot of walking?
Oh, nice here.
Aside from exploration, where you can find random items on the ground and hidden treasures, as well as pathways, you may also come across towns and camps that enable you to buy and sell items for yourself. Food, weapons, items, and other items for your car and so forth. Weapon vendors are common in every town. Thus far, I've only seen a single upgrade for my weapons, and that upgrade was fairly substantial. Equipping items is easily done, and there is also a nice feature to compare your currently equipped weapon with the weapon that you're purchasing to see how it'll affect stats, while also allowing you to view its model. Just like in previous Final Fantasy titles, you have the ability to switch out your weapons, but unlike previous Final Fantasy titles, you don't have any say for the actual gear that you're wearing. So not your chest armor, your legs, your helm, nothing like that. You do have the ability to change out your accessories as well as your appearance. You'll see that key section down below where you have a slew of options if you want to look formal, non-formal, with the jacket, without a jacket, for each of your characters. Equipping accessories is going to be very important. Managing which accessories that you use is also going to be very important depending on the role that that particular character plays. For Gladiolus, I like to get something that's going to give him a lot of health, because more often than not, despite the fact that there's no real tank role, he does play that role, and in a very minor way. He can sometimes get aggro from the different mobs, and so he's going to be taking the most hits. Another example of a shop comes in the form of somebody standing by a truck selling general items such as potions, as well as other items that can help you around the field. This is also where you can find food that Ignis will need in order to make his dishes when you camp. Items can also come from the open world. Nodes such as this provide food necessary for Ignis, or even materials like ore for later use. Lastly, the character development comes in the form of experience as always, but rather than the experience being applied immediately, you build it up over the course of a day or so, and then when you rest at a camp, a hotel, or RV, you are then awarded the experience that you built up during that time with a multiplier depending on your accommodations. Hotels would give you the highest multiplier, probably because it is the least convenient, as you have to walk all the way back to town. You also get awarded AP, which can be applied to your Ascension board, which is similar to the sphere grid of Final Fantasy X. There are several sections, each focusing on a different aspect of your character's development. Here, you spend the AP to apply permanent boosts to your character's ability to fight, as well as other passives involving non-combat. There are plenty of great things, but of course, no great thing comes up without its flaws. I've come across two major glitches, such as this, where the enemy just kind of disappeared, and I've also come across a point in time where I literally got stuck in a mountainside. Now, that one the first one wasn't so much of an issue, but this was. As you see here, I could not move, I could not do anything, I was just stuck there, and it wouldn't even let me get back to town. So I had to reload my game, which cost me to lose about a half hour worth of gameplay, and that kind of sucks. As I show you an epic battle with a dual horn herd, I'm going to explain to you that you do have a vehicle, but the vehicle is not something that you're going to be able to use as you might think. This is not Grand Theft Auto, so you can't just get into the car and drive anywhere that you want. You're confined to the roads, and the speed is not all that great. During the day, Ignis will be driving for you, so you don't even have a whole lot of control in that. It works similar to a fast travel, but it's not very fast, as you have to kind of watch the entire trip. It's great to see the scenery, it's good to see the guys talk to each other, but at the same time, it makes it for a semi-useless trip. Now you do get a chance to stop, which is kind of funny, and you can also accelerate. And you can also switch up the radio to listen to previous Final Fantasy titles if you bought them from a store, or you can just enjoy the scenery. So it's really up to you.
Got it.
My opinion so far has been fantastic. I love how this game plays out. It brings me back to the Final Fantasy world without actually feeling too much like an old school Final Fantasy. It brings a lot of new stuff to the series and I love it. I do wish that there was a little bit more activity in the open world as you're exploring. I wish there was a little bit more music to accompany me as I'm exploring. But from what I heard, it does get a little bit more lively later on, and I guess I'm just gonna have to wait and see. Alright then, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to post them in the comments section below. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more gaming and unboxing videos. But before you go ahead and finish watching my crew take out a herd of dual horns. Until next time, Horseman out.
Apologies.
Okay. Hey, Ignis, instructions.
One false move, and we're done for. We can turn the tide yet.
Gladio.
Watch yourself, Noct. Try this.
Nice work, Gladio.
Yep.
Gladio's not looking too good.
Take cover and heal up, Noct.
Mind if I do? Hell yeah!
One false move and we're done for.
Just keep it together, Prompto.
We're sorely outmatched, Noct. Let us retreat.
Not. Shoot yourself. Here goes nothing.
Keep it together. That's crossing the line. Sorry.
Dying of thirst here.
I'm starving to death.
And yet we're all very much alive. Behind you, Noct!
Got it. I'm going all out.
Just don't get too carried away.
Sure want to talk. Done.
Smash. Nice work.
Gladio, do it!
Jojo, how about this? On your mark, Noct.
Gotcha.
This sounds like you're having fun.